Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley and I'm a stay-at-home mom of 2 young kids, and I am so happy that you stopped by today. It's Saturday, so that means I'm going to go ahead and be sharing 3 recipes that we had throughout the week last week for dinner. I kind of have a spread of everything this week. I have like a family favorite that we've had before. I have just like a random mashup of grilled things, and then I had a recipe that we were like 50-50 okay with. If you like this sort of stuff, be sure to give my channel a check out before you head out of here. And if you enjoyed this video by the end, please be sure to give me a thumbs up as well. Any recipes that I used are going to be linked down below in the description box or typed out there. If you are a person who enjoys specific measurements, that is going to be almost necessary for you with my channel. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started into this week's What's for Dinner. Up first this week, I made some chicken and wild rice soup, and this was the recipe that we have tried before and we all super love this. So to start off with, I'm just preparing 1 cup of dried wild rice according to the back of the container for the rice. And then basically I just set that and forget it for about 20 minutes. Then I'm going to go ahead and move over to my big Dutch oven, and to it I'm going to go ahead and start sauteing together some butter, onions, garlic, carrots, celery with the leaves, and some seasonings. Those seasonings are 1 teaspoon each of oregano, thyme, sage, and rosemary. Now, I feel like if you didn't have these herbs individually, or you were just feeling lazy that day, you could totally just go ahead and throw in some Italian seasoning and it would totally do the trick. Once the vegetables sauteed together for a good while and they started to soften, I went ahead and just kind of eyeball added in 1 to 2 tablespoons of flour. And I also mixed that with the dry Knorr chicken bouillon that I will be using in place of chicken broth. So I just added the amount that I would need for 4 cups of broth to that. And then, yeah, you're going to go ahead and let your flour toast, and you don't have to let your Knorr seasoning toast. I just like the little bit of extra flavor that it gives. And yeah, once you get your water added in or your chicken broth, then go ahead and just add your 2 raw chicken breasts right into the pot, and you're going to bring that up to a boil. Once you can see that your water is boiling, go ahead and put the lid on your Dutch oven, pot, whatever you're using, and you're going to let that continue to high roll boil for about 15 to 17 minutes. You don't really have to worry about your chicken drying out because it's boiling in water, so cook that chicken. And here you're gonna see that I'm stirring things around, and my chicken was actually still pretty frozen, so I wasn't convinced that the middle was cooked through, and there you're gonna be able to see that it's not. So I noticed that the water was reducing a little too much for my liking, so I added in about another 2 cups of water and brought that back up to a high rolling boil for about another 15 minutes, honestly. And here you can see that it's super boiling, and I actually take the chicken out and do a quick internal temperature test on it just to make sure that we reached 165 and we were good to go. Once I removed the chicken and set it to the side, I went ahead and started in like the second phase of adding in ingredients. So to the original broth, you're going to go ahead and add in about a 1/2 cup of milk and anywhere between a 1/2 cup to 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. It's just going to really depend on how rich you want this soup to be. Then you are going to go ahead and add in most of your cooked rice. You could honestly add in all of it if you wanted to. The original recipe called for like 3/4 cup of uncooked rice, but no rice recipe on the back does 3/4 cup. So, adjust accordingly. It's your kitchen. Put in as much rice and chicken as you want. Then yeah, this right here is what I think makes this recipe so special, and honestly what makes it one of the best soups for summer as well is the lemon zest. You can put a little in, a lot in, really as strongly as you want it to be present. I ended up putting in, I think, maybe about a tablespoon of lemon zest, and then I also used some of my fresh lemon thyme that you're gonna see here to sprinkle on top and garnish. I always just serve this soup with either a side of Ritz crackers or those frozen dinner rolls, and this soup is so good. Definitely try it out. Next, I just kind of grilled a whole bunch of things that we had on hand on the Blackstone. Like I prepared some blackened seasoned chicken to be used the next day, which I'm going to talk about that in a second. I bought these Angus pre-made burgers from Aldi that I have seen everybody talk about, so I wanted to give them a try. And then I had some hot dogs that I really needed to just use up, so I figured I would go ahead and fry them while I had this all busted out. Honestly, the only interesting talking point of this meal was this right here, this bread cheese. And I saw my friend Taylor pick some up whenever she went out of state to Wisconsin, I believe. And I was so intrigued by it. So when I saw that my Aldi had it, I pretty much lost my mind and immediately ran home to try it. And that stuff is so good. If you see anywhere that sells bread cheese, all you do is you just slice it up like this and then you fry it on all sides, and it tastes like the cheese that kind of falls off of pizza when you're baking it, and it's super crispy and delicious. And yeah, the burgers were pretty good, nothing exceptional, but definitely nothing bad. And the bread cheese was 10 out of 10, definitely buy that. But this Kinder's blackened seasoning that I seasoned the chicken with, none of us liked it. We did not think it was very good, so I do not recommend that seasoning at all because it kind of threw off my whole entire meal plan, which led to this next meal of mini meatloafs and honestly just a whole bunch of carby sides to get things out of my pantry. So I feel like I'm still definitely on this sort of hunt to find a meatloaf recipe that is worthy enough to enter my handwritten like recipe binder. So I guess this is just the next one on the contender list. And this is from Taste of Home, I believe. And it's like mini barbecue meatloaf cups. So like I said, the recipe is going to be linked below for exact measurements, but it's a pretty standard meatloaf recipe, you know, 1 egg, some Worcestershire sauce, your salt, pepper, seasonings, things like that. There was chili powder in this, which I thought was pretty interesting. And then they also mixed some barbecue sauce in with the meat. And this was also one of the only meatloaf recipes in recent memory where there was no milk added either, so that was a little bit strange, and I do think that it came out a little less tender than I would prefer a meatloaf just because it didn't have enough of the mushy binding agents, I believe. So yeah, once again, if you didn't know, like unlike some things in the kitchen, you are supposed to mix and combine the heck out of meatloaf, so go ahead and mix that up super, super good. Then you're just going to take a muffin tin and kind of weirdly fill these up like little cupcakes, even like meat cupcakes. I don't know. There's just something about this that is just like unsettling to me. I know it's going to be fine, and you know, they were overall pretty tasty, but there's just something really weird to me about meat cupcakes. Let me know. What do you think? But yeah, once you get your meat cupcakes assembled, they're just going to go in the oven at like 350 for 15 minutes, I believe. And while those are in their first round of baking, you're going to go ahead and prepare the top coat glaze. And that's just a healthy scoop of brown sugar, ketchup, a little bit of Dijon mustard. And then this was so strange. They had a little bit of nutmeg in there. And I don't think that did anything for this sauce. Like really, I could not taste it at all. It didn't add anything interesting or unique. It was just there. The sauce was overall pretty good, but it was really sweet. So if you don't like super sweet sauces, probably make a different recipe sauce. And then we're not even going to talk about these scalloped potatoes. They were in my pantry. I wanted to use something up, and these were from Aldi, and they were just straight up like not good. They were extremely mushy and had a very fake cheese flavor, and I don't even think Aldi regularly sells these. I think they were a special find, so easy to avoid. Once the mini meatloafs came out of the oven, since there's no drainage on the bottom, you are going to have to take a paper towel and kind of like dab the top a little bit just to get the excess grease off. Unless you want to keep it there. I mean, hey, it's your kitchen. You do what you want to do. Then yeah, just put your sauce right on top, and you're going to put this back in the oven at 350 again for another 15 minutes. I did end up broiling them for a minute or two at the end as well, just to kind of caramelize the top a bit. And here's the final product. Like I said, those scalloped potatoes were gross. Do not get those. And then the kids just had some Kraft mac and cheese. And I think corn is like literally the only vegetable you can serve with meatloaf. So corn. The meatloafs were really good. I think next time I would use this recipe again. I would just add a little bit of milk in with the meat mixture. And also I would add some red wine vinegar to the glaze. Anyways, that's going to go ahead and wrap up today's video. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. If you did enjoy this, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. Go ahead and check out my channel to subscribe, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye!